I remember leading a small group one year where over half of the small group community ended up being theater students. And I had really no history with the arts, the performing arts. I was a football player in college. I was a fraternity guy. I was from a small town ranching community. I can connect with guys and gals that have that kind of a background and that kind of passions or interests. But I never had any interest. I never had any history with theater. And I in some level, I was kind of like, how do I even engage these guys? How do I even connect with them? I have so little common interest with them. And many of them weren't followers of Jesus, and so I didn't even have that. And so I learned that I needed to really value what they were into. And so sometimes that means letting them teach you something. We'll say it this way, just do what they're into. Be a part of what they're into. And sometimes I couldn't personally do that myself. I wasn't in their department, but I would go to their shows. I would constantly ask them questions. I would let them teach me something about what it was like to be somebody who was in the performing arts. And I learned a lot about theater. And it wasn't enough, or it wasn't a big deal that I didn't know. In fact, it was really a connecting point in some ways. Because here I was, and I was constantly inviting them into my life, and I was inviting them into my community here in Chi Alpha, and I was inviting them into my relationship with God as I was inviting them to have a relationship with God. And here was something where the shoe was on the other foot. They were able to really be the one inviting me into their life, into their passions, into what they're interested in. When we talk about fighting for people, we talk about the pursuit of their lives, but that's more than just pursuing them in their dorms, although that's awesome. But maybe they don't even like their dorm, right? It's more than just grabbing lunch with them in the cafeterias. Maybe they want to get out of that sometimes. Like, pursuing them in time and space is important, but it's more than that. It's also pursuing them in the passions of their lives, in the interests of their lives. And whether that means learning something new, maybe you are somebody who is really into sports and they're not, but they love board games. All right, get a group of guys together and make it a big deal and have a lot of fun. Show that you can have love and laughter and while you're doing what they're into, and maybe it's vice versa, right? And so you're now going out in the IM fields and kicking the ball around or doing whatever. Maybe you're taking them hiking, but then they're taking you horseback riding, right? Like, whatever it is that they're into, don't just let them pursue you in doing their interests. Begin to pursue them in their interests. Start to be the one that initiates. Like, hey, I don't know much about rock climbing, but I know you love it. Like, I would love to learn if you're interested in teaching me sometime, right? Engage them in their world and let them really be the one who is in charge, who leads, when so often as a small group leader, you're the one kind of setting the tone and setting the pace of what your community looks like. Do what they're into, pursue their life, and through that, you're going to pursue their heart and become the small group leader that can really impart the kingdom and the love of God in their life as you show them your love and honor them by pursuing them in what they're passionate about.